Welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to take a closer look at Nvidia and a lot of updates coming out in the past few hours. We're going to take a closer look at SoftBank investing in AI. We also heard talks about Nvidia's H20 actually expected to see more tighten on export restrictions to China. And we're also going to take a closer look at some thoughts that Nvidia had to say about Samsung. So let's get started. But if this is your first time here, make sure to hit the thumbs up. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Check out the pinned comment for special offer at fool.com/Jose. And check out my free daily semiconductor newsletter, whatthechip.com. Tomorrow will be filled with a lot of big tech earnings, all completely free. So make sure to check that out.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
All right, so first let's start off with the big picture. I know it is big earnings day, and I'm taking my time to read each earnings. I'm starting with Meta Platforms. Meta is going to be the first video I released in the upcoming hours. After that, I think I'm going to do Microsoft, followed by Tesla. So there is a lot about the AI market, and obviously can be bullish or bearish for companies like Nvidia. Now, after hours, the stock originally was green. I think the stock was up nearly 3% after hours, but then we can see kind of a negative pullback. One of the reasons I'm seeing right now is Meta did a talk about kind of building or producing more of their own AI chips, and it does seem like the market is kind of worried about how that can kind of react or how what that means for Nvidia in forms of GPU sales. Again, I'm going to do a Meta video probably a few hours after this, but to me, I don't think Meta has any real threat to Nvidia right now. And more importantly, they did give some great insight about DeepSeek, which again, it kind of gives a bullish thesis about that DeepSeek isn't as crazy as many people think. But like I mentioned, I'll save that for other videos. I just wanted to let you guys know what we have in store. Now for Nvidia, the first thing we're going to look at is SoftBank is expected, or reports have come out that SoftBank is in talks to invest as much as $25 billion in OpenAI, which is pretty interesting, right? Because the way this is going to work is SoftBank plans to invest $15 to $25 billion directly into OpenAI, in addition to its $15 billion Stargate commitment, the report says. And then OpenAI will invest around $15 billion in Stargate, with SoftBank's equity investment potentially covering OpenAI's infrastructure commitment, right? So it just seems like it's money being transferred. So OpenAI, obviously, we're seeing this huge infrastructure being built with Stargate, and it's going to be with companies like SoftBank and OpenAI. This is going to be of infrastructure for OpenAI, but OpenAI still has to kind of pay for kind of those computational use cases. So it seems like SoftBank is going to get some equity from OpenAI by using $15 to $25 billion. Then OpenAI will use that money to kind of push it into Stargate and to kind of pay for its infrastructure commitment, right? So we're seeing it's pretty much SoftBank just getting putting up all the money here. But at least for SoftBank, they do get some form of equity investment into OpenAI. And this allows OpenAI to continue to grow and have a massive infrastructure being built out for them. Even though this is about OpenAI, the reason I want to talk about this is there has been a lot of fear with DeepSeek and about the computational needs. I want to say that reports like this continue to solidify that while maybe there are some efficiencies happening in the AI market, there's still heavy needs for computational power. And again, we do hear that a lot from Meta's earnings, which I will do later today. But overall, I think this is a bullish scenario for not just Nvidia, but various AI companies. Now, the one that I found maybe not weird, it kind of makes sense, especially with all this DeepSeek drama. There are reports that Trump officials discussed tighter curbs on Nvidia China sales. And for those that are not familiar, right, Nvidia right now, the only chip that they're really able to send to China in form of a data center product is the H20, right? And the H20 definitely makes a nice billions of dollars in revenue a year for Nvidia, right? There have been reports that it could be somewhere between $5 to $10 billion in the H20. So there is definitely a market here. And now reports are saying that Trump officials are kind of wanting to tighten this H20 even further. Let me say, I do agree that the company should have done, or the United States was fine with the H100 and the most advanced chip. We even saw the United States even ban kind of the H800, so Nvidia had to bring down the weaker H20. The reason I feel like maybe this one is a bit of overkill is I do believe there has to be a balance even for national security, right? I'm thinking about it more in national security opposed to the business. As a business sense, I think Nvidia is going to be able to do fine. They will be able to sell either the H20 or their lower chips to other players and other products. Maybe even enterprise companies that don't want to buy the H100 and can just start buying H20s instead. So I believe there's going to be a market here from someone. So obviously it sucks getting hit with the Chinese market, more regulations, but at least where we're at right now in the AI space, I still believe there's going to be demand for that product. Now, the reason I think this is kind of bad news is right now, at least you're still sending the H20 to China, right? And by sending the H20 to China, we've seen that Chinese players are still willing to buy the H20, and they're not really buying too much from their domestic chip makers, like Huawei, who has the Ascent 910C, which is their AI accelerator. Now, the great thing about this is it forces, right, there's this kind of distribution with technology. So if you remove H20 from this circle, then every Chinese company is going to go out there and buy the Ascent 910 instead. And by doing so, there's going to be a lot more investments into this and then allow for more competitions for Chinese chip players to continue to grow, right? So I believe by having H20 there, it creates kind of a scenario where not all investments is going to one place, and it kind of slows down the technological advancement of that one player. So I want to see how this goes forward. The Nvidia did respond, and they did mention that they are going to be working with the administration as it pursues its own approach to the AI market. So again, nothing is set to stone. These are just reports, but just wanted to share my overall thoughts. As an investor, not necessarily the worst case, but it's definitely something to think about. Now, the final thing I want to talk about, it does seem like Samsung is not in the right place for Nvidia. And obviously, we know that Nvidia right now, their main providers for HBM is SK Hynix, and their second player is Micron Technologies. Samsung, unfortunately, has been doing really bad with HBM development, that they're not a player in this space right now. And now, in a new report by Korean media outlet, it is claimed that Jensen has blamed Samsung's executives for situation around HBM qualification, saying that the Korean giant and its engineers cannot be trusted. Nvidia is a customer of Samsung Electronics, not an employee. Stop calling and asking questions. I can't trust Samsung's HBM products and engineers. We cannot trust and do business with them because senior executives change frequently. So it just kind of showcases that this market is very, very intense. And the HBM space, I believe, is going to continue to be a player for Micron and SK Hynix. And things like this just solidify that maybe Samsung Technologies right now is definitely going through some weird changes. So Samsung, like I mentioned, has been doing really weak with the HBM market. We've heard reports that they're doing bad with a lot of their semiconductor industries, even with their manufacturing push. So those are the overall topics I wanted to take a closer look at right now. Let me know in your comments below. What are your thoughts? Take care, have a good day, and see you all next time.